on Chillin with the Polar Bear, we sit down with athletic training major Samantha Harshbarger. The senior from Versailles, Ohio, talks about her progression from freshman year to senior year, the stories and all. As an athletic trainer, what are some responsibilities you have on a typical day?
As an athletic trainer, some of the responsibilities I have on a typical day include getting the field ready for practice. That includes getting ice bags prepared, filling up the power flows, getting the kit ready, and then getting the training room ready for the athletes to come in, which involves getting the tape and the spray and the Band-Aids and that all out for them. And once the athletes start showing up, we go into work mode and we tape and get everyone out and ready for practice at the right time.
In the 4 years you've been here, how have you progressed in the program?
Your freshman year here, you start off working in the training room about 50 hours a semester, and then you do sports observation. So that's basically just getting your hands into the program and seeing what it's about. And then you go through some interview processes, and then you finally get accepted at the spring of your freshman year. Sophomore year is when it gets hard. Sophomore year is really hard. You have your eval classes, which is basically everything you need to know about athletic training condensed into 1 year. And then you start your clinical rotations. And my sophomore year, I worked with men's soccer and women's basketball. Men's soccer was a really neat experience because that was the year they made playoffs. And because I worked with them and they saw that I was a hard worker, I got to actually go with them to the playoff round, which was really cool as a sophomore. And then women's basketball, it was a fun experience too. I started to be able to do more stuff as my women's basketball because it was in the winter. So I could apply the skills I learned in Eval 1 to that and actually be able to do things on the athletes versus being able to just watch as much as I was in the clinical 1. My junior year was a great learning year for me because junior year, after you have your eval classes, junior year is where you actually get to do like hands-on, like you're basically able to do everything pretty much. So junior year I worked with football, which is a very injury intensive like sport. So we saw a lot of cool injuries that year. So I was able to get my hands on and learn a bunch through that. And then I had wrestling, and wrestling was a really great experience. I got to do a lot of first aid and a lot of upper body like rehab and stuff with them. And then my senior year, I've actually gotten the opportunity. I haven't had a clinical yet. I'm in my clinical, starting my clinical with indoor track here pretty soon. But I've been able to work with the football team and the men's lacrosse team, which is new to campus, which is a really great experience. And I get to travel with the football team this weekend to the playoffs. So that's a really exciting time.
What does it take to be an athletic trainer for different sports teams?
To be an athletic trainer for different sports teams, you have to be able to rebound quickly and adjust to changes because different sports teams operate differently. Some sports are very regimented in how they set up practice. Other sports are a little more lenient. And the athletes with every sport are very different to work with. The football athletes are different from the soccer athletes. And it's not like it's a bad difference. Everyone's just different to work with, and it's really interesting to see and to adjust like how you behave with one athlete versus another athlete.
What have you personally gained from your experience here?
Personally, I've gained a sense of accomplishment because my class started out as there was 6 people in my class and I'm the only one remaining through all of it. So it's been an interesting experience to be like the sole person, and I feel like I've grown a lot just from last year to this year. I've seen like growth in myself with like maturity level and like setting everything like the tone of how I'm going to be a professional in the future.
All right, Sam, what is your most memorable experience here at Northern?
My most memorable experience here at Northern would have to be the trip that we took with the football team last year to Wash U in St. Louis, because on the way there we had a little mishap with the water on the field because they had a hose and it wasn't a very firm hose, so when we turned the water on it didn't seem like it was going to come out, but then all of a sudden the hose started whipping all over the place and we got covered in water, and we still had a trail like ride to go to, and the football coaches and the head athletic trainer Kurt all were watching this happen, and they haven't let us live it down since.